Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll get started soon. Muchas gracias a todos por unirse a este Facebook Live. Vamos a comenzar en unos minutitos. Hi, everyone. Welcome, welcome. We're going to get started soon. Thank you so much for joining us. Hola a todos. Vamos a empezar en unos minutitos. Muchas gracias a todos por unirse y estar aquí con nosotros. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. We'll get started in 1 minute. Muchas gracias a todos por unirse. Vamos a empezar en un minutito. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. My name is Eliana Fernandez. I am a lead organizer with Make the Road New York. We're going to get started with this Facebook Live. Thank you all so much for joining. Muchas gracias a todos por unirse a nuestro Facebook Live para hablar acerca de DACA. Vamos a empezar ahora mismo. Once again, everyone, thank you so much for joining. My name is Eliana Fernandez. I am a lead organizer with Make the Road New York, and we're going to get started soon. Just one thing, para todas las personas que se están uniendo a este Facebook Live, nuestra presentación va a ser en inglés. Entonces, le vamos a pedir a todas las personas que marquen el siguiente número para poder ayudarnos con la traducción. Entonces, ahí vamos a ver el número. So, the Facebook Live is going to be in English. So, if you need translation in Spanish, please dial the number below. Para todas las personas que se están uniendo y hablan español, este seminario va a ser en inglés. Por favor, pueden marcar el número 844-844-9200 y el código es 472-681. Nuevamente, gracias por unirse. El seminario va a ser en inglés y para traducción usted puede llamar al número 844-844-9200. El código es 472-681 y la tecla del número al final. Well, thank you everyone for joining us tonight. My name is Eliana Fernandez. I am a lead organizer with Make the Road New York, and I'm here today with a lot of people from the movement, and we're going to be sharing with you the latest update on DACA. So thank you so much, everyone, for staying tuned. Next slide. And we're also going to put the number for the translation in the chat. Nuevamente, para las personas que necesitan interpretación, por favor, el número es el 844-844-9200, el código 472-681 y el signo de número al final. Next slide. So welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us tonight to talk about DACA. Welcome, welcome. Before we get started, I just want to ask everyone who's joining us to text the word E and the numbers 297 to the phone number 929-410-5280. Once again, for everyone who's joining us, we're just asking you to text the letter E and the number 297 to the phone number 929-410-5280. That way we know that you are here with us today, joining us. For all the members that Make the Road, you know the drill. That's what we do for every webinar that we have. If this is the first time that you're joining us, it will ask you just a few questions, and that way you stay informed and you can get updates from Make the Road for the future. Once again, the number is on the screen, and you can dial or send the code E297, I'm sorry, at the phone number 929-410-5280. Next. So we are here tonight to give you the latest update on DACA. I know a lot of things have been changing in the last few weeks, and for many of us, including myself, it has been a roller coaster. So before we get started, once again, Eliana Fernandez, Make the Road, New York. I'm one of the lead organizers with the organization and also a plaintiff on the Batalla Vida lawsuit. So what happened this past weekend? On Friday, the judge in our class action lawsuit and the Batalla Vidal versus Wolf ordered the new administration to restore the DACA program to its original 2012 form. This was an incredible and amazing victory for all our plaintiffs and all DACA recipients across the country who have been fighting to protect the program for the last 3 years. Today, we'll be hearing from one of the members and plaintiffs in the Batalla Vidal lawsuit. We will also be hearing from members of our co-counsel team explaining the decision, how this decision impacts the DACA eligible individuals, current DACA recipients, and in addition, also our movement allies will share with us how you can stay involved with the DACA fight till we get a permanent solution for all undocumented people in the country. So first we have Joanna Larios. She's a member with Make the Road New York, and she's also one of the plaintiffs in the Batalla Vidal lawsuit. Joanna is eligible for DACA and will be sharing her personal story with all of us. So now please help me welcome Joanna. Joanna?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Joanna Larios, and I am a member of Make the Road New York, and I am one of the plaintiffs in the Batalla Vidal lawsuit. In 2017, 2 days before I was supposed to see my attorney to apply for DACA, the Trump administration cut off my chance to apply by rescinding the program. Then this year, after the Supreme Court ruled in June, I submitted my DACA application for the first time. The government received the application a day before the Wolf memo was issued, and my application was eventually rejected. It was important to me to apply for DACA. It was important for me to apply for DACA because I have seen how DACA has transformed the lives of other undocumented youth, including my sister, who is a DACA recipient. I want to be able to work, help support my family, and live without fear of being separated from my 2 young children. So we went back to court, and last Friday, the court ruled in our favor. DACA must be restored back to its original form, allowing undocumented youth like me to apply for DACA, and current recipients will be able to breathe a little easier as DACA will be restored to 2 years. I am working with Make the Road New York legal team to resubmit my application as soon as possible. For the past years, immigrant youth have resisted the cruel administration's continuous attacks, putting hundreds of thousands of lives at risk. We organized, we fought, and we won. Today, the DACA program can continue, but we know that this is not the end of the road. We must continue to fight for protections for all people and a path to citizenship for all 11 million undocumented people across the country. Thank you. Eliana?
Thank you so much, Joanna, for sharing your powerful testimony and also for being one of the brave plaintiffs in our lawsuit. We're so lucky to have your voice in this fight. Thank you so much for sharing your testimony. So next, I want to invite Ramis Wadewood from our co-counsel at the Jeremy and Frank Legal Services Organization at the Yale Law School. He's joining us today to explain the court decision, what the decision means for those folks who are eligible for DACA, and also what this means for current DACA recipients. Ramis, take it away.
Thanks, Eliana. Could we get the slide up for the relevant page? All right. So like Joanna and Eliana mentioned, on Friday, our judge issued an order which set aside the government's most recent attempt to terminate and dismantle the DACA program, which they issued in July of earlier this year, which a lot of people know as the Wolf Memo. So on Friday, the judge not only set that aside, but also issued additional protections for DACA vented people and for DACA eligible people. So what this order is going to do is it's not only going to restore DACA to its original form before the Trump administration started to attack it in 2017. It's also going to extend all of the renewals and employment authorization documents that folks got since July, since they applied after the Trump administration limited DACA to 1-year renewals and employment authorization documents. So you should be seeing those employment authorization documents and those renewals extended to 2 years. And the government should be sometime today posting a notice on their website that DACA is back in full form. They'll be accepting first-time applications, and you should soon receive a notice from the government that your renewal and your employment authorization has been extended to 2 years. So again, what this means is that if you're eligible for DACA, the government will be accepting first-time requests. So you should definitely talk to your immigration lawyer or a trusted legal representative to see if you're eligible for DACA and to get to submitting your first-time application. If your renewal is coming up and you apply for a renewal, you should be getting a 2-year renewal. And if you've already gotten a 1-year renewal, that renewal should be extended to 2 years. And you can also, for those folks who have DACA, apply for advanced parole under the guidelines that were in place before the Trump administration tried to limit it earlier this year. So that means educational, employment, and humanitarian purposes. And again, talk to your immigration attorney or a trusted legal representative to see if you have a reason that qualifies you for obtaining advanced parole. And we're happy, obviously, to answer any questions at the end of this. Ellie?
Thank you so much. Yes, just a reminder for everyone who's joining us, we'll have time to do Q&A at the end of our Facebook Live. So if you have any questions, you can start putting them in the chat and we'll get to that point later on the presentation. Now I would like to invite Mayra Joaquin. She's a staff attorney with the National Immigration Law Center. And she's joining us tonight to discuss the class action certification in this lawsuit. What does it mean and what do we mean when we say class action and how you can find out more information and learn about this. So Mayra.
Thank you, Eliana. And thank you to everyone who's joining us tonight. We wanted to make sure that we discussed the class action part of this lawsuit. So on November 14th, the court certified a nationwide class in our Batalla Vidal lawsuit. What this means is that the relief that we've gotten through the lawsuit recently is going to benefit everyone who is a class member, and that includes anyone across the country. So the court appointed NILC, the National Immigration Law Center, as well as the Jerome and Frank Legal Services Organization at Yale Law School, and Make the Road New York as attorneys to represent the class. So who is in the class? The class consists of both a DACA class and a pending application subclass. The DACA class includes all individuals who are or will be eligible for DACA according to the terms that were in place in 2012. And the court also certified a subclass of individuals who had applications pending for DACA at USCIS, whether those applications were initials or renewal applications, pending between June 30th and July 28th of 2020, and whose applications were not adjudicated or would be adjudicated based on the Wolf Memorandum that the court has now said is unlawful. So essentially, if any application was pending with USCIS during that window, and that application was an initial but got rejected, or if it was a renewal application and that person got a 1-year grant of DACA, those individuals would be included within the pending applications subclass. Now, the class does exclude some individuals, but it's very few individuals. It only excludes those individuals who are eligible for DACA and who choose to bring their own lawsuit challenging the Wolf Memorandum. Again, almost all individuals who are eligible for DACA would be considered part of the class, and they would benefit from the relief that we've gotten through this lawsuit. So what else do you need to know? If you are, as I've said it, you are already part of the class and you do not need to take any additional steps to benefit from the relief. What we do recommend that you do is that you register for more information. We have set up a website for all our class members. That website is www.dacaclassaction.com. And if you visit that website, you will be able to receive updates regarding the case, more information regarding what has happened in the case, and you will also be receiving updates as as things continue to change. We, as Ramos mentioned earlier, we expect to see notices from USCIS soon, and so we will continue to update that information on the website. And I will turn back to Eliana.
Thank you so much, Mayra, for sharing all that information. Just one last reminder, para las personas que necesitan la traducción en español, por favor, usted puede marcar el 844-9200 y el código es 472681. Nuevamente, para todas las personas que necesitan traducción, usted puede marcar el siguiente número, el 844-9200 con el código 472681 y el número de signo. También el número lo puede encontrar en el chat del Facebook Live. Y vamos, and we'll proceed with our presentation. So thank you so much, Mayra, for that information. And now I want to take this moment to invite our next speaker, Juliana Macedo. She is from, she's a manager at the United We Dream organization, a state and local policy manager. She will join us to talk about how we can continue to organize. And even with this positive decision, like what this means, how can we get involved in the movement? Because we know our fight is not over. So Juliana is going to share with us some of the things that you can do to be part of this wider and bigger movement that we have going on. Juliana, welcome.
Thank you, Ellie. Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me. Thank you for tuning in. This is a really exciting time, right, to be doing this. I want to make sure that we all know that this is a huge victory. We were not expecting it to be this big. We've been scrambling all weekend to make sure that everyone gets all the information that they need. And that we take a beat, take a breath, and just take it in, right? Because we thought that we had gotten this win back in June when the Supreme Court had their decision, and then the Wolf memo came out, and we're all despondent again. But this is it, right? So our window is open right now, and I just want to make sure that folks really take the time to realize that this is what we've been fighting for during this administration. Unfortunately, they've been fighting against us. So yay, let's celebrate that. But we always knew that DACA was only the beginning. It's always been temporary, right? It was only the first step. It doesn't even cover most undocumented people in the United States. So we know that it's just not enough, right? So we are gonna keep fighting. We're gonna try and get as many people covered under DACA as possible. If y'all are out there and you can join the lawsuit, you should do that. Visit the website. If you're out there and you're DACA eligible, talk to an attorney, talk to a legal representative, try and find some legal help There is folks who do pro bono work. There are Daca clinics that are going to be opening up for initial applicants. Make sure that you get that kind of help, but make sure that we are trying to get folks to apply. So we're strongly encouraging everyone to seek legal help and apply if that suits you. That's the first step. The second step is then we keep fighting. There's a new administration coming in. We all know Biden won the election, and he has promised to expand the program, but he hasn't exactly said how, right? So we're going to be putting a lot of pressure on him to make sure that we cover as many people under a deferred action protection program, like DACA, as possible, right? We want them to expand TPS. We want them to expand DED. And that's just what the administration on the executive side can do. But we all know that executive actions can be taken back, just like we've been fighting against with DACA this entire time. So the main goal, right, the finish line really is a permanent protections for everyone, and that can only be done in Congress. So we have to keep fighting for something like the Dream and Promises Act that just passed the House in 2019. Hopefully the Senate can pick it up. It's a bill that will help most folks with DACA and TPS and DED without hurting people, right? Without adding enforcement. And that's the kind of bill that we want to see. That will protect as many people as possible, not just DACA recipients. We want to cover all 11 million undocumented folks. And we know that the Biden administration already promised to introduce such a bill in their first 100 days of office. And in the first 100 days of office, but we need to push them to actually fight for it, right? Because it's one thing to introduce a bill, it's another thing to make sure that it passes. And depending on how the Senate race comes out in Georgia, we know that we'll have a much harder fight in front of us. So to keep involved and stay informed, right? We have all these resources. We know we have our website, unitedwedream.com. And uniteddream.org, actually, sorry, I wrote it down wrong there. But also, if you want to stay informed about, especially about this DACA case, and we have guidances and we have FAQs, we have all kinds of things on our homeishere.us website. So I am going to stop here and give it back to Ellie, and I'll be happy to answer any questions after.
Thank you so much, Juliana. Right now on the screen, you can see all the websites where you can find more information about everything that is happening with DACA, the latest updates, and how to stay involved. One thing that I do want to highlight, the website, the www.dacaclassaction.com. That's a website that you can go and actually register with your email so you can stay up to date. And that will provide like a bigger information to all the people who are eligible for DACA, have DACA. So that's something like, to keep in mind and go there for you to stay informed with the latest on the DACA lawsuit. So before we go to the Q&A section, I just want to take the time of this minute to thank everyone for joining us tonight. But we also want to take a moment to thank our plaintiffs in our lawsuit and everything that they have, done and demonstrated throughout this lawsuit. A lot of bravery, like, when facing all the attacks coming from the White House. I know for a lot of DACA recipients, including myself, it's been really hard fighting against the Trump administration, not only in courts, but also like, in the streets and organizing the community. But time after time, we have been winning. So this just shows something that we have the collective power that we need to continue to push forward and demand more from the upcoming administration. And something that Juliana said, right? We have this new administration coming up, and this is the time that we need to organize and really start demanding more for our people. We want a permanent solution, not only for DACA recipients, but for all 11 million undocumented people who reside in the country. That's the heart of our work. We're not only fighting for one particular group, we're fighting for everyone, because we are all in this fight together. So the plaintiffs in our lawsuit that I want to give a shout out are shown in the screen. That's Carolina Fonfe, Carlos Vargas, Antonio Alarcón, Martín Batalla Vidal, myself, Sonia Molina, Jimena Zamora, Joanna Larios, who's here with us tonight. And for the last plaintiff, MBF, she's a person younger than 18, so we're not able to show her name, but also wanted to give her a shout out. So now we want to open the space for questions. We have received quite a few questions already. I'm gonna start with the first question. It says, and I guess someone from either Mayra or Rames can help us with this question. I got denied before because I was a new applicant. Can I apply again? And either one of you can take it.
Sure. Well, it depends on when you applied. If your application was rejected after after this summer because of the Trump administration's most recent changes to DACA, then you should definitely talk to your immigration attorney and apply again, because as this lawsuit has revealed, what the government has been doing over the last few months is totally illegal. They didn't have legal authority to curtail the DACA program, so you should definitely apply again now that DACA is back in full and they're accepting first-time applicants. That's obviously if your application was rejected because of the Trump administration's changes.
Thank you so much.
If I can just add one quick note. So in addition to what Rama said, if you are considering whether to apply right now, we strongly encourage you to speak with an immigration attorney so they can review your application, whether it's a resubmission or a new application, just to make sure that everything is accurate and up to date, and also so that they can verify your eligibility. So please consult with an immigration attorney before submitting your application if you can. And we have resources on our websites also to help you identify immigration attorneys.
Thank you, Mayra. The next question, it says, so it's official. Can we start sending applications now? And I think that's a question that keeps coming up. Folks wanted to know if they can start submitting their applications as of today. Either Mayra or Rames.
I'm sorry, could you repeat the question?
They're asking if they can send their applications right now that it's official, or if there's anything that they have to wait or consider before sending their applications.
I can start. So USCIS is under the court order right now is required to accept those applications. So yes, you can submit those applications right now. Since last Friday, USCIS is to start accepting initial applications for DACA, for advanced parole, and also to continue accepting renewal applications.
Thank you. The next question, it says, I'm new to the application. Can you help, or how do I get help? I can respond from the Make the Road side. And if you're in New York, you can visit our website. We have information there. You can also dial 311 if you're in New York, and they will send you to either a nonprofit organization or other trustworthy attorneys. But I would just ask you to go directly to our website, and you can find resources there. I don't know if Juliana, you want to share any other resources that the United We Dream folks have, maybe across the country, or invite them to your website.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, like I said, a lot of our DACA resources are gonna be coming up on our homeishere.us website. We just uploaded our long FAQ guidance, and we'll be having a lot more resources coming up, especially this week. We're working furiously to create content for everyone. Like I said, we didn't expect the win to be this big. So, but yes, the homeishere.us website. Actually, right after this call, we're having our own community call with our membership. So anybody's welcome to join us. It'll be on our Facebook as well at 7 p.m. Eastern. You can also text home is here to 877-877 to get all the updates that we're going to be sending out. So there are plenty of ways for everyone to keep updated and informed. And I hope that helps. Again, you can go to homeishere.us or text home is here to 877-877.
Thank you so much, Juliana. Next question. We're getting a lot of questions. It says, so the decision, it's official, but USCIS has not updated their website. I know they have till the end of the day today to update their website, but I don't know if Mayra or Ramis wanted to add anything else. Okay, so yeah, USAID should be updating their website before midnight today. The next question is, it says, will someone with a DUI be able to apply since it has been 3 years since the disposition and supported with moral character affidavits? I know it can be risky, but has anyone experienced a similar story? Unfortunately, we're not able to provide information or give advice on a personal case, but we do want to invite you, you know, to have a consultation with a trusted attorney or organization that can guide you better. Just because we want to make sure that we're protecting, you know, your personal story, and we don't want to, like, you know, go into details. But yes, please make sure that you talk to an attorney so they can guide you better.
Liana?
Next, sure, go ahead.
Sorry, if I can just make a quick comment. I think Ramis had a muted last time, but we didn't get a chance to weigh in. But you're absolutely right. So their USCIS is expected to update their website today. The other piece I'll share is that we have a status conference to be scheduled later this week, and we'll have more information after that status conference. Right now, I don't believe the time for it has been set yet, but we're asking to meet with the court on Thursday. And ideally, after that conference, we will also have more information about the next steps that the government will be taking, even after the information that they will be sharing on their website today.
Awesome, thank you. So I have two separate questions, but they kind of like asking for the same thing. Does this application have a certain age limit? And the question related to that is also, I'm 34 years old, can I still apply? Either Ramis or like Mayra or even Juliana, if you want to.
I believe the answer is yes, so long as you were eligible back when DACA was issued in 2012. So back in 2012, you would have had to have been under 30 years of, I think it's up to 30, not older than 31 years of age. So long as you meet the eligibility requirements from DACA 2012, then you should still be able to apply now, even if that were to be an initial application.
Awesome. So we're telling people that the criteria should be the same as the guidelines from 2012. Nothing will have changed in terms of like the age limit and all of that, right?
Yep, that's right.
Okay. Next question. Is there any slim chance that the Trump administration will want to appeal the decision at this point?
Well, so we've seen the Trump administration over the last few years be very unpredictable. You know, the only official statement they've made in response to Friday's decision mentions the possibility of an appeal, but there's no way we can predict what they're going to do. You know, there's 40 something days left in the Trump administration, so an appeal takes a lot longer. That's not saying that they won't do it, but there's no way to predict what they'll do, as it's been tough to predict what they've been doing over the last few years.
Thank you, Rames. Juliana, maybe you could help me with this question. It says, I'm new to applying. How and where I can start?
You should start by looking at our resources and finding out if you're really eligible. But don't let, if you find that there are any obstacles to that, don't let that deter you. Find an immigration attorney, right? We have plenty of resources on our website to lead you to folks who will help you out for free. There will be plenty of Daca clinics out there. Find someone who can help you get some support, because it is a really it's a really complicated process. I speak from experience. I have DACA myself. It's not easy to do. I always have to have someone help me, especially the first time. You're gonna have to figure out how to prove that you've lived in the US for the last 13 years continuously. That's gonna be a lot of work. So find help, I think, is the first step.
Thank you, Juliana. Yes, and that's true. Start gathering all the documents so you can show proof that you've been here in the US all those years. I think that's really important. Next question. Did the year of the entry change? I think that the question is still the same, right? I don't know if Myra or Rames wanted to add something there.
That's right, Eliana. It's so long as you're eligible for DACA according to the eligibility requirements of the memo that was issued in 2012, then you would be able to continue to submit either a first-time application for DACA or a renewal request. There haven't been any changes to those requirements.
Thank you. Next question. And thanks to everyone who's posting their questions. Thank you so much, guys. It says, oh God. Can I use the forms on the archive DACA page, or would I have to wait until USCIS updates the page? Rames, I don't know if you want to help us with this question.
Well, keep a close eye on the DACA page. Like you said, it's archived right now, and like we mentioned earlier today, there will be some updates to the page sometime today, hopefully. But otherwise, as far as the forms that you should be using, definitely make sure to talk to your immigration attorney or an organization that does DACA work to make sure you're using the right forms.
Thank you. Next question says, what will happen if your application gets denied? Mayra or Juliana?
So that could, that question kind of depends on when it got denied and why it got denied. I think without having more information, it could really depend, right? If your application was rejected by USCIS and you had previously submitted an initial application, then you can resubmit. Again, we encourage you to speak with an immigration attorney before doing that. If you had submitted a renewal request and that got denied, then we also encourage you to speak with an immigration attorney to figure out exactly what the reason for the denial was and whether there's whether you could resubmit and have them reconsider it.
Thank you. The next question says, are the initial requirements still applicable for the advanced parole application? If so, can people begin applying? Rames, you want to take this one?
So just like the initial kind of guidelines for applying for DACA, the initial guidelines for applying for advanced parole are also back in place. And like Myra mentioned earlier, as of Friday, the order is in effect. Obviously we're still waiting for the government to confirm on their website that they're following the order, but as of Friday, technically all of these initial guidelines are back in place. So as far as your eligibility for advanced parole, again, definitely talk to an immigration attorney or an organization just to make sure that you fall within those buckets.
Thank you. Just a follow-up question on that. It says, the requirements for advanced parole the same as before Trump ended? And lastly, can one study abroad or travel outside the US?
So yeah, so before Trump started to make changes to DACA, those are the guidelines that are going to be kind of the law of the land. And as far as studying abroad, I think it depends on some of the specifics, but that is one of the common reasons that people accessed advanced parole before the Trump administration's changes.
Thank you. And another question is asking, how long does the process for a new application takes? Mayra, you want to help us with that?
I believe the processing times have varied, and it's hard to predict how long it's going to take for an initial application because it's been a long time since we had those numbers. I believe for renewals, it's taken about 4 months. It could be the case that for initials, it takes somewhat similar, but because of the additional evidence that you have to provide with an initial application, then it could take a little bit longer for them to consider your application and before you get a notice regarding the decision.
Thank you. And I think this has to do with one of the questions when submitting new applications. It says, is 3 to 6 months paper per year enough proof to show you've been here each year?
I don't believe we could answer that question here. I think that would be the kind of question that would be good to talk to an immigration attorney about, because they can point you to the kinds of proof that you can use to show that you've been in the US. And they can also talk with you about the amount of time that you would have to be showing that presence in the US.
Thank you. And I think that this question is coming up again for where people can get resources if they want to apply for the first time. I think Juliana covered that before. Juliana, I don't know if you want to send the last reminder as to where people can get new information if they want to like apply for the first time. I just said before, like if you're in New York, you can go to the Make the Road website, which will have like a list there where you can get help with that, like 311, and they should be able to refer you to a trustworthy organization or attorney that can help you, navigate the system and how to prepare for your new application. So Juliana, do you want to add anything else there?
Yeah, for folks outside of New York, there will be resources on our website as well. You can go to homeishere.us. We'll be updating it with lots of guidance, lots of different links. We will also have, one thing I didn't mention before is if you need financial assistance, right, to apply for your first time application or your renewal, we have funds that we help folks out with a scholarship for the $495. So go to renewmydaca.com to apply. Or if you're out there and you're wondering how you can help your friends with DACA, you can go to the same website, renewmydaca.com, and donate and help us help folks, but all of this again is on our homeishere.us. That's the only address you need to memorize right now, homeishere.us, or you can text us home is here at 877-877, and we'll send you all these links that you need as well. So you get all kinds of resources, legal help, financial assistance, and all the guidance you will ever need will be there too.
Thank you so much, Juliana. And yeah, that's a good point. Like donate, because a lot of our folks need the money. Paying $500, especially right now under COVID, I know it's very difficult for a lot of folks. So if you have the money, please make sure that you help us help other people. And that way, we can make a difference in their lives. I have a question that it's somewhat similar. It says, so what is recommended? We start sending applications now as of today, or wait on the website to confirm it? Rames, I don't know if you can help us with that question.
Sure. So in a perfect world, there wouldn't be much longer to wait. the government's required to post a notice on their website today, and they only have a few more hours to do that. So in any case, hopefully this isn't a question that you have to worry about, and that tomorrow it will be, by tomorrow it will be confirmed. But in any case, technically, as of the Friday order, the government has been ordered to start accepting first-time applications. So if you were to apply before the government posts a notice, although hopefully there isn't much time between the two differences, then according to the court, the government's required to accept that application. But definitely keep an eye on the government's DACA website, on the USCIS website for that notice. And if that gives you peace of mind that the government is confirmed, then hopefully that'll come in the next few hours.
Thank you. And just like a follow-up question that I think you briefly touched on, what will happen if this website is not updated? What's the next move? That's one of the questions. What happens if they don't update their information?
So they are required, right? There's a court order that was issued on Friday that actually requires the government to update their website by the end of today. If they fail to do that, then they would be in violation of the order. If they were to take other steps to try to avoid having to change their website, I think we would have to figure out what next steps we can take going forward to ensure that the relief that the court ordered last Friday is relief that individuals can actually benefit from. And if you've been following a case, you'll notice that we're in a court right now where the judge has understood that this administration has been basically looking for every path they have to avoid doing things. And this is a judge who, because of that, actually ordered them to take this additional step of posting information on their website. So we are hopeful that if the government were to decide that they want to violate the court order, then we would be able to pursue some legal avenues to find ways to ensure that they comply with the court order and to eventually start accepting and processing all DACA applications.
Thank you. So we have two questions in Spanish. I'm going to try to answer one question, and maybe Mayra, you can help in Spanish with the other question. It says, una pregunta, ¿puedo yo aplicar por DACA si estoy estudiando el GED? Tengo papeles de que fui a la escuela, tengo 9 hijos, el más grande tiene 20 años. Yo creo que vamos a la misma respuesta que estábamos cubriendo antes. Todo va a depender cuándo usted entró al país. Entonces, lo más recomendable, porque no podemos dar recomendaciones en caso a caso, le podemos sugerir que visite a un abogado o una organización que le pueda ayudar a ver si usted es elegible basada en las fechas que ha vivido en el país y cuándo entró en el país. So the next question that maybe Mayra, you can help in Spanish, it says, mi hijo tiene 15 años y tenemos todo listo para que él aplique por primera vez. Mi pregunta es si ya se puede aplicar, aunque USCIS no lo haya anunciado.
Sí, USCIS ya tiene que estar aceptando aplicaciones de individuales. La única razón por la cual importa ahora es porque ahora es la fecha que ellos tienen que anunciar en el internet que ya están haciendo eso, pero la aceptación de aplicaciones ya comenzó. Comenzó desde el viernes que obtuvimos esa orden de la corte, así es que si su hijo es elegible para DACA, él ya puede someter esa aplicación. Como hemos estado diciendo, sí les recomendamos que hablen con un abogado de inmigración para que se asegure que toda la información está correcta y que sigue siendo elegible para DACA, para que así ya puedan mandar la aplicación.
Thank you, Mayra. And I know we only have 10 minutes, but I think this question is really important. And it says, does the pending case in Texas have any impact on any of the renewals, first-time applications, or advanced parole requests? Ramis, if you can help me with that. And also maybe Juliana, if you can tell us what is it that we are doing on the organizing world when it comes to the case in Texas. So Ramis, why don't you go first?
Sure. And Myra, please feel free to jump in with anything as well. So there is a case in Texas in front of a judge named Andrew Hanen. It's brought by a number of states, such as Texas and a few other states, trying to challenge the legality of the DACA program itself. So we're keeping a close eye on that lawsuit. That's, supposed to go up for a hearing at the end of this month, although it may happen later. But it really depends on what that judge is going to say in response to that hearing. So, we're not really in a position yet to know what exactly the judge will say, but we're keeping a close eye on it. And all we know right now is that we have a certified class, and our judge has given us an order reopening DACA to first-time applicants. So we're going forward with the information we have on that.
Yeah, and on the organizing side, we know as much as the lawyers. So which is to mean that we know that right now there's a window for us to have as many folks apply as possible. So that's what we're really driving at right now. When it comes to the Texas case, we are hopeful, I guess, but also just prepared, right? We know that Hanen has already struck down DAPA and DACA Plus, so we are not super optimistic about it, but we are ready, right? We know DACA has had a lot of ups and downs these last few years, and we've been through it, so we know what it takes. We will be letting folks know what kinds of actions we'll be able to do, because again, there is a global pandemic going on, so we want to make sure that everyone's safe if we were to put on any events. And again, this is just another reason why we have to fight for permanent protections for everyone in Congress, right? So that this doesn't keep happening. And so that's where our sights are on the organizing side.
Thank you, Juliana. And that's right. We got to keep fighting. Whatever comes out of the Texas court, we'll be here fighting for our community till we get a permanent solution for everyone. And maybe like Juliana or Mayra, you can help me with this question. It says, I heard before the renewals is taking up to 4 months. What should I do if my renewal was sent 7 months ago and haven't received any updates? So I don't know if Juliana or Mayra want to take on that question.
I think maybe Mayra will be able to answer it better, because I think there's something to do with the early sending in early applications, and there's something in the order about it, right? And I'm not a lawyer, so I'm gonna let the lawyers take this one.
Yeah, so I think we said earlier the general timeframe that it's taking for some applications to be processed. I think that timeframe also varies based on where your application is being received and what center is processing the applications. So for some, it can take a little bit longer. If you have questions and if you want to follow up regarding your specific application and potentially ways to track it, you can reach out to us directly. I think our information is posted maybe on some of the slides at NILC.org, but basically if you send an email to our organization, we'll be able to follow up with you and see if there's more specific information you can find out about your application.
Thank you, Mayra. I think there's another question in Spanish. It says, tengo una hija de 13 años que la traje desde el 2007. ¿Qué tengo que hacer? Si su hija sería elegible para DACA, ella no va a poder aplicar hasta que tenga 15 años. Pero mientras sí puede ir colectando toda la información, asumiendo que el programa va a seguir a pie. Y como siempre, consultar con un abogado o con una organización. This question is, I think, for you, Juliana. It says, is there any organization helping filing with the filing? Unfortunately, due to COVID-19, I lost all of my income and I want my 2 daughters to get DACA. and also whether or not the scholarships that you mentioned are there to cover DACA. Is it also covering for advanced parole applications?
I was on mute. Okay, first, sorry. First, I'll respond to the scholarship application. I don't believe we cover advanced parole. We've been trying to cover as many renewals so far, and now I know that our page still says renew my DACA, and it's all about renewals, but we will be changing it to also include first-time applications. So we'll be helping folks out with both, but not advanced parole that I'm aware of. If that changes, check back in. Hopefully we would love to, but every time we open it up, we get such so many applications that most of the times we can't even cover them. So again, if you're able to, please go and donate, because we want to cover as many people as possible. And then we as United We Dream will be trying to put on Daca Clinics, virtual ones, right, to keep folks safe. But we also, on our website, again, homeishere.us, we have a list of other organizations throughout the country that does Daca Clinics, and these are free. You can either walk in or make an appointment. Maybe they'll do virtual as well, right? And folks can help you on an individual basis to fill out applications. There are also resources on how to find a good legal help if you can and you have the means to pay for it. It's also important because every time there's some big news like these, we know that unfortunately there's been fraud, and there are certain elements out there who will take advantage of it and take your money, promising that you'll get DACA, but that's not how this works. So we also have resources to help you vet, whatever legal help that you get. So again, homeishere.us, it'll be there. All the financial help you need, all the legal help you need, it'll be there.
Thank you so much, Juliana. So with that, we're gonna wrap up. I just wanna take the time to thank all of our wonderful speakers for being here with us tonight. Thank you so much for joining. Mayra, Rames, Juliana, and Joanna, thank you all so much for being here and being part of the space. And lastly, a big shout out to our litigators, plaintiffs, allies, and the collective movement for all the work that you have been doing in the last 3 years. And let's keep on winning. I think we have what it takes, to continue this fight and continue winning. So I'm super excited to what's to come next. And I think lastly, before we close, one of the, I think Yetzirah is going to put up the page once again with all the websites, so you can go on and receive the latest updates on the DACA case. Once again, thank you so much all for joining. I hope this Facebook Live was useful, and we'll see you next time. So thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Yeah.